Welcome to the Three Billsketeers, where we talk about the niche bills that have importance, but likely do not affect you in any way whatsoever.
I'm Josephias.
I'm JoJo Joestar.
And I'm Elijah Clay.
For this episode of the podcast, we'll be analyzing the new bill that was just passed by Congress that has to do with solitary confinement.
We're going to begin by talking about some of the negatives of solitary confinement.
Solitary confinement, more like solitary confined mid. We'll begin by asking Elijah Clay.
Yeah, JoJo. So I think one of the big issues with solitary confinement, one of the real negatives, if you will, is a lack of sunlight. It's too often that solitary confinement is just this idea of putting people in, for one, a small space, which is usually, a box with, and if it has a window, it's so high in the sky that it doesn't matter where the sun is hitting from because the angles, right? So people are really lacking that sunlight.
And now to Josephias.
Yeah, to add on to what you were saying about the prisoners being locked up for a while, it also cuts back on their social interaction with other prisoners. It can really have an effect on someone's mental health when they have a lack of social interaction for that long a period of time.
Yeah, and that's a good point, because that really just adds on to the depression and craziness that I was talking about. And really it just goes to highlight the negatives of solitary confinement.
Yeah, so I would definitely agree that there's a lot of terrible things about solitary confinement, but there's some things that are unnecessary that almost make it worse. And, it's simple things, but important to have in a normal human life, and for them to strip that away. Of course, one of the bigger things is a lack of beds and toilets, those things that, and for toilets, it'd make more sense if they had access to that. But with beds, you can't really just let people out to take a nap. They always deserve to have that. And the fact that they don't just makes it even more inhumane of a place to live in, almost more like a cage instead of a place separates you and teach you a lesson as far as not to do something again,
Yeah, definitely. And also another thing is not even just beds, but just lack of stuff in the room. It's just they have a blank, usually concrete square that they have to just live in, and there's no way that anybody can live in that kind of a space. Yeah, and I think another good thing that can come of this bill is that prisons may switch to more of an outlook on positive reinforcement, which will help reform the prisoners instead of just putting them in a worse mental state through the solitary confinement.
Yeah, exactly. See, I was thinking one of the things that I hope to come from this bill is hopefully it's the groundwork for more and more prison reform, because anyone can take a look at the prison system in this country and realize it's messed up. But really, it also points to a less divided Congress, which we've been hoping for a while, so they can actually get agendas done. And I think one definite positive of this bill that you might overlook if you're just reading it casually, but I noticed, is that it's fined directly to the warden. So hopefully that'll actually give the warden some accountability, and hopefully this could mean having the warden having accountability in other areas of the prison as well.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think it's too often that, the wardens, they almost use it because they don't like the way something is, and it's not a real issue, within the prison. It's kind of more like a personal thing,
Yeah, exactly. And there's no trial for this solitary confinement. They're just solitarily confined. So it almost seems to go against our very Constitution, which is why these prisons even exist.
Yes. Yeah, no, Cooper.
JoJo.
I completely agree with everything you're saying. I think it is good to always have Congress. I mean, obviously not everybody will agree because it's an opinion and opinions will always differ, but getting closer to that kind of mindset of treating these people badly or worse just isn't helping is definitely a good idea. But I just want to thank all of our listeners for coming in today and just really taking the time to hear what we have to say and our opinions, and for always sticking with us through the end. So thank you guys for joining, and I'm Elijah Clay.
I'm JoJo Joestar.
I'm Josephias.
And we're the Three Billsketeers.
There's three.
Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss a podcast again. And don't forget to go ahead and hit that follow button on Twitter and Instagram. See ya, guys!